Alright, where were we? I know I ask this every time, but... last chapter. Here we go. I keep forgetting I need to look at that one treasure box I was missing. I've been saying that for a while now. This doesn't seem too bad. Have we... I can't remember if this is actually... something that was already in the previous release of the game or not. I also need to figure out how in the world to not fly straight off this 90-degree turn here. Oh. That felt like something, actually. I managed to, yeah, get myself rightwards a bit that way. Lost on my speed like that, but like that was worth something. I misjudged the position of those. Darn. So I was liking that just now. Oh. Lost some speed, but all things considered, that felt pretty good. Otherwise, yeah, I just can't get myself to stop here. So I managed to... yeah, like that, more or less. That's good. Could probably be better, but even so. Maybe I can just jump to the left there, and we'll be fine. Getting her ready here pretty quickly, at least. Whoop. I do like how this game is one you can just kind of drop into and immediately start. Whoop. Start get into some fairly interesting gameplay. There's not a lot of wind up in this game. I haven't figured out all the specifics yet for this part. I don't know if I want to jump immediately. Like that. I guess I went okay anyways. I don't feel like... I haven't actually tried it yet, but I don't feel like I'd be able to make that jump if I would try to just go to the left. Well, that was actually pretty nice. If I could actually just jump entirely over the second pendulum, that would be fantastic, I think. Yeah, like that, but, you know, not blind, ideally. More or less. Okay, but can I actually... I guess I can do that. Slow down a bit there, but I'll take it, honestly. Don't know what this time travel is here for. And I've made a baggage cycle. Oh well. Man, these sieges are so much longer than they used to be back in the first release. Like 100% go just jumped right at that thing. Whoops. Some of these stages are starting to remind me a little bit of the harder stages in Paperball, which is interesting to note, seeing as how Paperball had some really, really hard stages when it got hard. Because in that game, you do not have to worry about having to do long marathon levels like this, where, man, you had to worry about... guys, come on. Stuff jumping around. Where you had to worry about how frustrating it would be to do these very same things many, many times over. Darn it! I have received an email, and I swear if it is the third marketing email I received since unsubscribing from this marketing email list, I'm going to be very upset. Like this one last pendulum here. And not even a gold. I feel like I start out super strong, too. Oh well. Only barely missed a gold, though. Okay, this seems feasible. Just need to, you know, not have the problems that I had. That felt unusually smooth, and yet I did not make the jump that time. Okay, I somehow managed to simultaneously press up and down on the controller. That's pretty impressive on a D-pad like this one. Are they even wired in a way that lets you do that? I guess they are. I know lots of games kind of bug out a little bit if you manage to provide inputs that are not normally physically possible on the controller they're made for, because they tend just not to test them. Sometimes just funny stuff like, oh hey, you can actually make the character move faster than is normally possible just by moving the stick further than is normally possible. The original Blinks lets you do that, for instance. You can run faster by moving the control stick way off into the corner, past where it's normally physically possible to move the stick. Another bad... Okay, thank you. Don't do that, please. Ah, man! Anyhow. Oh, well, yeah, sure, whatever. I probably don't need to worry too much about doing the very beginning absolutely perfectly, although not losing out on time there is probably important too. Because this is a long enough stage where it's a tad marathon, honestly, in its design. Ah, that was very close. Really just going through that at breakneck speeds. But yes, this one's a case where it's a bit, okay, me bouncing off the pendulum there is an important part of me redirecting my momentum sufficiently. I can't skip over that. Whoa! Where did that rightward spin come from? Jeez. Yeah, I didn't know. I've never approached like that. I was not sure what to do there. We are at a point where like every stage is taking me a while. But that's just the nature of stuff getting more difficult, I guess. I had no good approach there. I wasn't going fast enough. Darn it, I thought I had this consistent. Nice, more consistent than this. But like I was saying, this stage is just long. Like it's the same thing for a while. I do have a preference towards shorter stages, I would say, generally. I think it's more fun being able to try to do really, really tricky stuff on... crazy bounces. On shorter stages than having to try to endure with safer strategies and whatnot on longer stages, or even worse, try to actually use... Okay, too fast that time, apparently. Even worse, try to get away with using crazy tricks on a longer stage, at which point it's just a frustrating attempt to execute a bunch of really difficult things in a row. I mean, Paperball was on the very short side, because that game didn't have any checkpoints or anything. And it was a game too, well, it was also a game where lots of the challenge specifically came from the difficulty of not dying all the time. I've lost progress. I used to be able to do the beginning parts more consistently than those. I think I've gotten a little bit better at the first part, and consequently I now approach with more speed than I had before. As I get to the third green platform, going really quickly sometimes. Emphasis on sometimes. But the precise spacing I had done with before, just doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, you had some really, really hard stages in that one. But a given stage might literally just be a single obstacle. And the whole idea is, well, can you get past this thing? Man, but I want to be able to go past this part quickly too. Like, I realize I don't need to use every fastest possible trick on every single part of this thing, but I also feel like if I take slow paths on the earlier parts, it's probably going to make it harder for me to be fast enough in the later parts too. Ugh. Now I can't get as far as I did anymore. Like this part, like, I was able to just fly over that part at one point. I don't know why I can't anymore. I just don't approach it at with the right speed and timing anymore. I guess specifically I was doing something like, was it like this? There we go. Slowing down a little bit there just for the sake of, of making that. Yes, now I need to really learn how to do this consistently like I had before. That actually means slowing down on this part a bit, but that's just how being fast in a race works sometimes, I guess. You don't always, it's not always the best idea to go to maximum speed throughout the entire thing. And then sometimes you bounce one more time than you expect and you just go slower because of it. The whole bouncing versus not is still one thing that kind of bugs me, just because it's two extremely different consequences that have a very, very slim margin between the situation that produces one and the situation that produces another. See, I want something like that. Ah, man. I think that was my best run yet. I actually managed to get quite far that time. Yeah, so specifically I tried to actually jump not to the green platform up above now. I jump onto the pendulum, which slows me down, but it slows me down in just the right way. And then I can actually feasibly... What am I doing? I have the right timing to do this. Okay, I need to jump there. That time I thought I was not going to bounce. Why did I consistently go off further? I don't know why I have such a hard time actually directing myself at the beginnings of these stages. I tend to just not go where I think I'm going. Man, I'm getting more consistent at the beginning now, at least, after being consistent and then not consistent. Not trying to go for the green, though. It's just that I have a way easier time a lot of times going for the... getting on a pendulum than not. Okay, other times I just jump at a ridiculous time. I don't like having episodes that are just entirely me doing one thing, though. I guess I realize it's just the nature of the game, but... Like, playing to entertain other people is not the same thing as playing for yourself. Okay, either the timing needs to be different, or I need to not bounce like that. One or the other. Now see, if I jump immediately, I don't get enough height. If I stuck to the pendulum for just a moment, and then jumped after that, that would work perfectly fine. I'm certain of it, but... the jumps kind of worked out there, except until the point they didn't. Hey, okay. I don't fully understand whether... It seems like sometimes you can jump when bouncing off of something, other times you can't. And I don't understand what the difference is. See, like there I bounced a little enough that I was able to do that. Ah. That was weirdly smooth. I have a little consistency at the beginning, here, but not enough. But yeah, sometimes I can jump to get extra height when bouncing off of something, other times I can't, and I don't understand what the difference is. Okay, I can't slow myself down when I'm trying to jump across that pendulum. Okay, I was considering jumping one more time and I just didn't, and I'm a cycle behind. Yeah, that doesn't feel good being behind like that. I know I can be one cycle faster than that. And here we are, a whole episode where I haven't actually done anything yet. Yeah, it's one of those situations where I wouldn't really be annoyed right now if I was just playing this for myself, but I also know that a full episode of me not actually doing anything that can be considered making progress is unpleasant. And why do I keep thinking that I have a chance of not bouncing off of that when I apparently never do? Something about how I hit that pendulum makes me think I can just slide across it, and it doesn't happen. But other times I do manage to at least do a small bounce, so it lets me hit the pendulum again afterwards. And that works. But I can't slow myself down as I'm approaching. I need to approach at the fastest possible speed. Yeah, so far the hardest part on this thing is honestly just this part here, and approach at the right speed and whatnot. Okay, I don't understand why that slowed me down quite as hard as it did. I still don't understand why sometimes I get a massive speed boost by hitting the ground, and other times I get slowed way down. Yeah, see, I need to jump there to keep my speed. I think that is still my biggest sticking point in this game, is that I feel like I should by now have an understanding of what happens when you hit something, like when you hit the ground and bounce off of it, or not. But it feels like there's still a lot that just doesn't make sense to me. But there, I guess I need to take slightly longer still, and then jump to it, but then I have a hard time a lot of the time. See, there I run into a problem. I feel like I need to take slightly longer. I need to be equally fast, but take slightly longer to actually get to the... I don't know. I've managed to bounce off that pendulum onto the next platform before. I don't know why I can't do it anymore. But yes, I don't... It doesn't quite make physical sense to me what happens all the time when I actually jump off of a... When I actually jump off of... Or sorry, not when I jump, but when I bounce off of something. Sometimes I get a speed boost by jumping off the ground, other times I'll get slowed way down. Other times I'll get a massive speed boost that I didn't expect to get. And it kind of alternates in a way that I don't quite understand. Okay, cool. Airtime. I don't have any viable approach there, I don't feel like. I don't really know what to do at this point other than just kind of trying more and more to figure out my approach here. So the times when it was working more, I felt like were times when I was losing a lot of speed, I think. Now I'm missing my approach in the first part entirely. I do this. Well, it was roughly that, wasn't it? Okay, like that. Pulling back the entire time, but it's too much speed then. I need a lot of speed for this particular part of the map, and then immediately after I need to have way less. That's gonna... I don't see any way to factor in the first pendulum into this. As nice as it would be to have something else to actually stand on. See, now I've slowed down way too much though, now it's not gonna work. I think, oh, maybe if I slow down just a tad, I'll end up with better timing for landing on the platform. But I can't slow down without losing speed, clearly. And that ruins everything. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want to keep the episode at this point. Nice coyote time there. I changed my mind right after bouncing off the thing and jumped. I wonder if abusing coyote time actually can get you to bounce further or something like that in this game. Ah, shoot. I was not fast enough for that. I ended up wasting a whole cycle anyways. Well, now I'm in a part that I'm not used to, so good luck getting through this part quickly. I don't know if there's any particular trick to doing these parts quickly either. Like if there's something I need to be doing to actually stay on diamond pace. There's the usual issue of not knowing what diamond pace even is. The controller decided to rumble really hard there for some reason. I'm not clear on why. So I don't know what the point of this one last pendulum is. Bleh! Fine. I'll take that for now. I do wonder if it was 120, I just barely messed that up. Next time we'll look for the treasure box though.